Can chapstick actually make your lips more dry? Stay tuned for today's video to find out more. Well, welcome YouTube friends and family to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. Hey, how about me 2 days in a row? So I'm trying to get back on my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule. So Lord willing and all goes well today, you will be seeing this on Thursday. It's actually Wednesday morning, about 20 after 6. My girly girls are still in the bed. It's still dark outside and I couldn't sleep. And I have been wanting to do this video for you all for a little while. However, when I am ill or under the weather, I will not make any bath or body products for resale for fear that a germ might fly off of me into the product. So I wanted to talk a little bit today. Sorry, y'all, I'm shaking the ring light. About, I'm going to call it lip balm because chapstick is actually the name brand. So oftentimes you can buy them in the little plastic tubes. I actually make mine in biodegradable tubes, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I'm sure you've all heard that lip balms or chapsticks, certain ones, can actually make your lips drier and more irritated. And you might be thinking, well, how can that be? Because it's supposed to be soothing. Well, actually, if a lip balm, and we're just going to call it lip balm, contains an irritating chemical like flavors, most all lip balms are flavored, and I'm talking an artificial flavor, a fragrance, a preservative, menthol, alcohol, salicylic acid, and camphor. Those are some common ingredients that can really actually make your lips worse. So many, many moons ago, I went in search of a lip balm recipe that I could make that would not contain any of these chemicals. The other thing many of them contain, y'all, is petroleum products. Now, when you think about a lip balm or a lipstick, there's a whole litany, shall we say, of rules, because you're actually like, okay, you're eating it. You know, you're licking your lips. It's going onto a mucous membrane. Your lips contain no oil glands. So you're going to ingest a certain portion of it. I wanted to have a very safe product that wouldn't further dry my lips. So I will fully admit I was addicted to the In the Black Tube chapstick, which contains petroleum, it contains camphor, it contains salicylic acid, and it contains menthol. All the things that are bad for your lips. If you have a lot of congestion and your mouth breathing, you know, you're drawing air past your lips and you have a tendency when your lips feel dry to lick them, then you draw more air past them. You're just compounding the problem. So there are commercial lip balms that do not contain those harmful ingredients. And I've shared the app before, Think Dirty. I actually got on this morning to look up some things, and I'm finding now that if you really want the advanced information, it's now a charge item. So you can at least tell if there are chemicals in it that you may not want to consume. The best thing to do is to go to that company's website and look at the ingredients list. So then you can look up the individual ingredients. So Burt's Bees is one that a lot of people swear by. Not continuously drying out their lips can be a little more natural of a product. I will tell you, I don't use Burt's Bees. I never have. I can't speak to it. I am going to give you some basic ideas about how you can make your own lip balm. I'm going to share a recipe with you. What I'm not going to share with you all is my proprietary recipe. So when I decided I wanted to create my own lip balm, I went through about a dozen versions before I hit on one that I thought was just phenomenal. So you can tell what's in my lip balm simply by looking at the ingredients list, and you're going to see me adding these ingredients, but I am going to give you a recipe for a Burt's Bees dupe that you might want to use. So let me do that first, talk a little bit about the ingredients, and then we're going to get into making some lip balm. So generally, let me just say generally, a lip balm is 3 parts carrier oil to 1 part beeswax to 1 part butter. So that's 5 parts. So 3 will be an oil, 1 will be a wax, 1 will be a butter. If you like your lip balm waxier, you can add more wax. If you like it softer, you can add less wax. So you can play with the recipe until you get it just like you like it. Hence my 12 versions. So the one that most closely mimics Burt's Bees, and this is a very small recipe, is 2 tablespoons of beeswax, 2 tablespoons of shea, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. All right, so we've got a butter, an oil, and a wax, but those are equal parts. I did some broad research, and almost every out on the internet recipe that's healthy, and they all work, y'all, they're usually equal parts oil to butter to wax. I actually use the 3 parts oil to 1 part butter to 1 part wax myself because I think it provides a little bit more moisture. So while I'm not going to share my exact recipe, you're going to see what goes into it and you can play around with it. It's pretty hard to mess up a lip balm as long as you're not adding harmful chemicals. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wash my hands really well. I'm going to glove up. I'm going to use some 91% rubbing alcohol. I am going to disinfect all my surfaces, and I will bring you back, and we are going to start making some lip balm. Now, I will tell y'all, this will be a shorter video than what today's was, which I will say Wednesday's was. I know that was a very long video, y'all. I'm sorry, but I couldn't figure out how to cut it, so it wasn't so long, and I wanted to share all 3 ideas with you. So stay tuned. All right, we're all clean, ready to roll. So over here, I have my Way scale. My scale's pretty beat up, guys, but hey, it still works. On top of this, I have just from Walmart an Anchor Hocking 4-cup measure glass, I'll call it Pyrex, but heat-proof measuring cup. You can either do this in a double boiler, and once you use something with wax, it's done. It's always going to be wax. This is my lip balm making cup. I prefer to do it in the microwave, and then I will talk at the end about how to clean it up so that you don't end up clogging your drain. So I'm going to put my cup on. I'm going to turn the screen over this way so y'all maybe can't see my exact measurements. But what I'm going to start with is some beeswax. So this, I will leave a link to this. This is Sky Organics Organic Yellow Beeswax, triple filtered for DIY and craft projects. So if you remember what I said, 1 part beeswax, right? So I am going to grab, because y'all know I can't have everything out. I always think I'm like totally ready, right? But yeah, not so much. I make my lip balm in very small batches. There is a reason for that. If I make it in large batches for whatever reason, it gets grainy on me. So I do try to measure this as exact as I possibly can. All right, so that's 1 part beeswax, all right? Now, remember I said 1 part butter. So what I like to use is shea butter. I like the Crafter's Choice, which comes from Wholesale Supplies Plus. It is ultra refined. If you use unrefined shea butter, which you can do, I will tell you ahead of time, it smells a little funky and it tastes a little funky. Ask me how I know. So, and y'all, this is like the waxiest, gummiest stuff you have ever come across. So let me just grab a knife here. And we're going to go for 1 part shea butter. And I will also share shea butter cleans up nicely if you like get a smear of it on your countertop with the 91% alcohol. Well, any rubbing alcohol pretty much will take it up, take away the greasiness of it. So I'm just chipping away here. So we have our 1 part shea butter. Now I am going to use 1 part coconut oil. Y'all are going to figure this recipe out. It's really pretty simple. So because coconut has such a low melting point, I consider it a liquid oil. I'm trying to break this. Okay, let me just... Must be living right today. And let me just grab... This is just a paper towel with some alcohol on it. Kind of clear up my hands here, and I've disinfected the countertop, everything. Now, you have a lot of options when it comes to types of oil that you're going to put in. You can use jojoba oil, which is what I like to use, is the organic, cold processed organic oil. You can use apricot seed oil. Any type of gentle oil will work well. So I'm going to add 1 part, so to speak, of the liquid oil. And what this is actually going to do is we're going to be adding 3 different kinds of oils for our 3 parts oil. Almost there. All right, perfect. And then for our final oil, I am going to add vitamin E, pure vitamin E oil. Now, I somehow ended up with a couple partial bottles, so I'm going to be using up some ends and starting a new one as well. Maybe. Oh, come on. Of course, we got to open the additional bottle here. Where did I put it? Okay, guys, hold tight. I got to find the rest of my vitamins. All right. So I don't have a huge volume ready to go, but we will be making multiple batches. I will be making multiple batches. And what we'll be doing while this is heating, I'm going to do about a 1-minute increment and then about 30 seconds each after. You don't want to scorch your oils. Is we are going to be pouring this into these biodegradable large chapstick tubes, and you just push them up from the bottom. I find that my customers appreciate something that isn't going to go into the landfill. So I'm going to head over to the microwave. I'm going to get this melted. I'll bring you back and we'll get to pouring some lip balm. And I'm going to talk about what essential oil I'm going to put in, but you don't want to put it in until after your heating is complete. Stay tuned. All right. You want to make sure that all of your ingredients are well melted together. Beeswax has a rather high melting point, so it is definitely going to be the slow part. And I personally like adding peppermint essential oil. I'm sorry, I'm counting. I have tried the flavored oils. I find them to be drying. And I don't think you can go wrong with peppermint essential oil. You don't have to put any. I have one customer who consistently orders with no essential oil in it, just the wax. So the reason you don't put the essential oil in prior to heating it is because it will degrade that essential oil. All right. Simple, right? So now I am going to pour into our cardboard tubes. You can also purchase a special plastic rack if you're using the little plastic tubes that holds them upright, because it can be a bit challenging to fill without spilling. I really like these large tubes. A typical chapstick tube is, or lip balm tube is about 1/3 of an ounce. These are 2 ounces. So it makes a big difference. Let me grab one more. You don't want to fill clear to the top. And here is why. As your oils cool, you will develop a divot in the center. I think I can actually get one more. Like a hole. So what you want to do is you want to allow your oils to cool to the point where that divot forms. Then we will reheat the little bit that's left and we will top each one of these off so they're flat. So I'm going to let this cool. I'll show you the divot that I'm talking about. Then we will come back and top these off and we will have our lip balms finished. How simple is that? So you may be wondering, why are you showing us things when it's like No Spin January or we're in a pantry challenge? A lot of you may have these type of items on your shelf, but it's not going to be No Spin January forever. And I think the more we can eliminate chemicals, preservatives, additives from our lives, pardon me, the healthier we're going to be. This is also so economical as compared to going and buying a name brand, very, very small lip balm that may in fact make your lips worse, not better. All right, we're going to let these harden up. I'll bring you back shortly. Stay tuned. So here is the Hallmark tunnel that will develop. So I've just reheated the end of this wax, and you want to aim right for that little hole and just top it off so that it's level. So it certainly does not impact, of course, the function. It just looks funky, like maybe a mouse took a little bite out of the lip balm. So I always like to top them off. I have the same problem when I pour candles. It's just a function of beeswax, its high melting point, and the way it cools. Now, as you see, I've got sort of a stalagmite. Tight is from the ceiling, mite is from the bottom. So it'll get a little grainy. I'm going to reheat that. I'm going to top that off. We'll let the top poured wax cool. They'll be ready to be capped and labeled. But we're not finished for the day. So since we are in the throes of winter, how many of you are struggling with some really dry skin on your feet and on, pardon me, and on your hands? Please, not the hiccups. That's one thing I didn't have when I had this cold, was the hiccups. I am going to share a really rich cream that we can make, and I'm just going to make one little jar for my own feet and talk a little bit about why it works well. Stay tuned. You may be wondering, okay, now I have a waxy, and if you put essential oil in and minty coating on my cup, if I want to use this for another beeswax based product, and certainly you don't want to leave old product in the cup, how do I get rid of it without clogging the drain? So the first thing is, while your cup is still hot, y'all, I use paper towel, and I don't use a ton, but I do use paper towel both for cat hair balls. How do you say that nicely? As well as to take away wax. So I'm going to fill this with water. I'm going to put it in the microwave. I'm going to let it heat thoroughly. I'm going to then take it outside to an area that I don't mind if it, kills what's underneath it. So basically, I have a little rock bed out there. And then I will wipe it out promptly with a paper towel, and we'll be ready to go with our next product. Let me show you all. Let's do it this way. Can y'all see that the holes have disappeared and our lip balm is setting up nicely? So that little trick works really well. Just make sure that if your lip balm looks grainy, that you reheat it, because if you don't, what happens is it actually feels grainy when you go to put it on. So it will really improve your product. All right, I'm going to clean this up and I will bring it back, and we're going to make a little jar of some really moisturizing cream for our hands and feet for this winter skin that we all suffer with. Stay tuned. All right, ready to make the second product. Now this I am going to give you the full recipe for. This is the Soap Queen's recipe. I make no guarantees or medical claims about the effectiveness of this product. If you are allergic to any of the components, don't use it. All of the cautions, right? Always check with your physician if you have a skin condition. So as much as 10% of the US is affected with eczema, and a smaller percentage of us are afflicted with psoriasis. And these conditions are both considered to be autoimmune or caused by an overactive immune response to certain things in your environment, or they don't really even know. So a lot of times they call it atopic, which just means there's nothing getting on your skin that's causing it. So while this product is not meant to treat either condition, any of us that suffer from either eczema or psoriasis may also suffer from dry skin on other parts of our body that don't require necessarily medical treatment, but do require hydration. So one of the best ways to get moisture into your skin is to seal it in. So a little bit of beeswax can be super helpful, and you will find it in many, many products. The problem is, as you look at many, many over-the-counter products, they're full of additives, preservatives, colorants, fragrance, which we are going to add some fragrance, but I'll talk about that in a moment. Not a requirement. Or other things that you might potentially be sensitive to. So I want to share this very simple recipe, again from the Soap Queen. I did not invent this one, but I will tell you it's a big seller for me, especially in winter months. So this is a honey lotion bar. So instead of being a liquid lotion, this we're actually going to make, and you can do it a variety of ways. Let me start there. Today I'm actually going to make this in my little honeybee mold. It's a silicone mold because that's, Sweet Honey Bath and Body is my company. You can put it into a mason jar and scoop it out, or you can buy a tin, a salve tin to put it in, or you can put the bar in the tin and carry it around in your purse, etc. That is probably the one disadvantage, is the portability of it. You do need something to keep that lotion from getting all over everything in your pocket, purse, whatsoever. So what do we need? Well, we're going to start with our now washed and wiped out wax cup. And this again is a 4-cup Anchor Hocking, Pyrex, whatever measure that I dedicate to Bath and Body products. So we're going to start with 3.5 ounces of olive oil. Now you can use either classic olive oil, which is extremely hard to find right now at Walmart. I have some, but I'm saving it for soap. Or you can use the extra virgin. The biggest difference that I find as far as skin benefits is negligible. The difference really is color. So this is going to have a little bit of an amber color to it, which is totally fine. So let's start by measuring 3.5 ounces of our extra virgin olive oil. Again, you could use regular olive oil. I don't recommend that you substitute other oils because I don't have experience to tell you, oh yeah, this works just as well, because I've always done so well with this particular recipe. I have other recipes with other oils, but this is a good one. And it's really good when your feet are super dry in the winter to rub it on your feet at night, put some socks on. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. All right, let's zero out the scale. And we're going to add 3.8 ounces of shea butter. And y'all, I did wash my hands. I'm just going to put my gloves back on. And I did alcohol off everything. You know, y'all, if you're just making it for yourself, that may be a bit overkill. But I just want to make sure that everything that I sell is as clean and pure as possible. So let's go for 3.8 ounces of shea butter. And I just have it in a bag over here. Y'all can't see me cutting it off of a huge, I buy it in 5-pound blocks because that's what makes sense for my business. So I am beginning, now that I'm sort of well, not sort of well, I am well, beginning to start on some of the products that I'll be selling locally for this hotel opportunity that I have. So this will be one of them. So 3.8. We're getting there. Wowzy, wowzy, is this ever sticky, y'all? Almost there. So you may be wondering, oh, okay, I don't know where to buy shea butter from. You can buy it on Amazon. I do like Wholesale Supplies Plus, probably the best of any that I've tried, and I have tried some of the Amazon. It's not that it's not good, it's just not as white and pure. All right, to this we're going to add 2.5 ounces of beeswax. So I'm just shaking these little organic pellets. And you do want to be pretty exact on this. If you use less, your bars won't harden. If you use too much, the bars will be harder to, get the lotion off on your hands, feet, or whatever you're using it on. All right. So I'm going to heat this in the microwave again. You can do it in a double boiler. I'm going to use a minute to start and then 30-second bursts so that I don't cause any problems with scorching. And then we are going to add our additives. So stay tuned for a few minutes. All right. This is what our lotion bar liquid looks like, but we're not done yet. So the next thing that we're going to be adding is just a very small squirt, about the equivalent of the inside of 2 vitamin E tabs. And the reason I like to add this, and I like to not heat it, I like to just stir it in, is because this lotion bar will be handled with your hands in its entirety. And no matter how clean our hands are, we always have a little bit of a germ on our hands. So this will help keep it fresh, help keep the oils from going rancid, as well as inhibiting some microbial growth. So the next thing we're going to add, and y'all, this is totally optional, but I think it makes all the difference, is we are going to add 1 tablespoon of tapioca starch or tapioca flour. And this is Bob's Red Mill. And you may be like, what on earth are you adding this for? Well, tapioca starch will add a very silky feel to the lotion as it goes onto your skin and just makes for a better experience. So I know this is a lot of little fussy steps, but one of the reasons I do share some of my recipes and some of my products is because I realize it's impractical for me to sell to the world. I don't have the bandwidth to do all that. So, you know, hopefully you can make some of these items for yourself and have a very healthy product. All right, so that's well dissolved, and it does thicken it a little bit, y'all. Now, you want to make sure, let me just add this and then I'll explain it to you. You want to make sure that you use soapcalc.net for any type of essential oils or fragrance oils. They do have a setting for lotions. So I know just from making this recipe that I can use about 4 milliliters of Brambleberries Pure Honey fragrance oil, along with a few drops of lavender, which is also naturally antimicrobial. Y'all, this smells amazing, totally amazing. Certainly more, I get more honey than I do lavender, but huge seller. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and pour our lotion bars. And I'm actually wondering if I'm going to need another mold. This just looks like a lot. So again, you could use a little mason jar. You could use a silicone mold like I'm doing. You can pour it into a tin. I'm going to grab another mold, I think, because it looks like I'm going to have just a wee tad too much to fit in. So it certainly makes a gracious plenty. And there you have it. Let me grab another mold and I'll be right back. This is a little bit larger, a little different shape, but that's okay. Yeah, so I got a whole additional bar, and then I am going to not waste any of this that has already hardened. So now what do you need to do? Well, I just use these inexpensive cooling racks from Walmart, and you want to set that aside for about 24 hours. I do not like refrigerating or freezing the lotion bars. I think it can cause sometimes the oils to separate a bit and get somewhat grainy, which is not what you want. You want that nice silky bar. All right, let me top off the mold, and then I will bring you back for some final thoughts. Stay tuned. Our lotion bars have set up enough that I can tip them. These are going to be absolute winners. They are adorable with the bee on the what will be the top of it. They smell absolutely amazing, and they work even better. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I am trying to mix it up a little bit and not just talk about the pantry challenge. I do have a craft planned for Saturday. So for those of you who've been wanting a craft video, it will be a fun one and an easy one that I think anyone can do. So I hope that I will see you on Saturday as well. Don't forget to drop me a comment below. Which one of these do you want to try? Or are you going to try them both? I will see you all again on Saturday, Lord willing. In the meantime, smash that like button. Be healthy, be well, be blessed. Take care.